At the age of 61, I have journeyed through the tapestry of life, where simplicity has been my guiding star for most of my days. In the tapestry of my life, I cherished a deep love for my husband, nurtured two wonderful children, and clung to a romance reminiscent of the heartfelt letters of old. In my heart, I believed that by adhering to the rules, remaining steadfast, and cherishing every promise made, life would graciously bestow upon me the gift of tranquility. In the realm of cherished moments, I held dear the magic of anniversaries, the warmth of handwritten cards, and the simple joy of morning coffee shared in matching mugs. In the quiet corners of existence, there were small, cherished rituals that wove the fabric of a life, binding moments into a tapestry of memories. Yet, in the depths of my thoughts, I realized I had erred in my understanding of a certain matter. Once upon a time, in a world not so different from our own, I found myself facing an unexpected twist of fate that I had never imagined could befall me. Hear me now, dear friend, and heed my words. Do not tread the same path I once walked, for it leads to folly. On the day that marked the 34th chapter of our journey together, we celebrated our wedding anniversary. It was a date etched in my memory, marked boldly in crimson on our humble kitchen calendar. A ritual I cherished each year, despite Tom's indifference to its presence. On that gentle morning, I found myself awake before him, observing the sunlight as it softly danced across the comforter, lost in thoughts of how swiftly the years had flown by. Once upon a time, the children had blossomed into adulthood and ventured out into the world, leaving behind a home that now whispered with the soft sounds of memories. Though the laughter had faded, the walls still held the warmth of their presence, creating a serene hush that wrapped around the heart like a cherished blanket. With a quiet grace, I descended the stairs, the morning light guiding my way as I embarked on the ritual of preparing breakfast. It was his favorite. Once upon a morning, there lay a plate adorned with fluffy scrambled eggs, their richness enhanced by a whisper of cream cheese. Nestled within the embrace of toasted bread, they awaited the perfect sip of bold black coffee, ready to awaken the senses and start the day anew. After a brief interlude of 10 minutes, he descended, his gaze fixed upon the glowing screen of his phone, diligently sifting through emails. As the first light of dawn crept through the window, he whispered a soft greeting, pressing a gentle kiss upon the crown of my head. In the stillness of the moment, I found myself waiting. And so it was, nothing else remained. With a gentle whisper, I conveyed my heartfelt wishes, happy anniversary. He lifted his gaze, a flicker of surprise dancing in his eyes. Yes, indeed. Indeed. On this special day, my love, we celebrate another year of our beautiful journey together. Happy anniversary, babe. Would you care for another kiss? Swiftly, this time. It seems I may arrive a bit later this evening. Gather round, for we have secured the presentation that awaits us. With a gentle curve of my lips, I embraced the familiar act of smiling, for it was a gesture I had come to cherish. Indeed, it is so. May fortune smile upon you. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I found myself seated at our modest dining table, a cherished piece from the year we united our lives in 1992, now a solitary witness to my thoughts. In the warmth of my kitchen, I prepared a pot roast, infused with the fragrant essence of rosemary and accompanied by vibrant red potatoes. I lit a candle, its flickering flame casting a soft glow, and adorned myself with the pearl earrings he once gifted me, a token from a time when his heart poured forth in verses of poetry. Yet he never arrived. As the clock struck 8, a message arrived, whispering of delays, urging me not to linger in anticipation. As I lingered in that quiet space, my gaze fixated on the flickering candle, its wax melting away to a mere stub. It was as if an unseen force had drawn the very breath from the air around me, leaving a heavy stillness in its wake. As dawn broke the following day, I made a resolute choice to hold back my tears. In a moment of self-care, I ventured out into the world, treating myself to a delightful manicure, acquiring a lovely new scarf, and meandering through the serene paths of the park. In that moment, the stillness was pierced by the sudden ring of my phone. A number shrouded in mystery. In a moment of hesitation, I nearly allowed it to slip into the realm of voicemail, yet an inexplicable urge compelled me to answer. Once upon a time, a voice called out into the stillness, "Hello." Once upon a time, there was a remarkable woman known as Mrs. Connolly. Once upon a time, there was a figure known as Direk, who held the esteemed position of Tom's boss. In a moment that may catch you by surprise, I find myself compelled to share a few words with you. In the quiet corners of solitude, the name struck a familiar chord within me. Tom had spoken of him in the past, weaving tales that lingered in the air like whispers of a forgotten legend. Once upon a time, there was a man who had journeyed through the vibrant tapestry of life, now standing proudly in his mid-50s. Once upon a time, there was a figure known far and wide as the sharp dresser, a master of style and elegance, whose presence turned heads and sparked admiration wherever they roamed. In the realm of academia, where the pursuit of knowledge intertwines with tradition and prestige, there exists a collection of institutions known as the Ivy League. These hallowed halls have long been the cradle of intellect and ambition, where the brightest minds gather to forge their futures amidst the echoes of history. In the wake of a recent separation, a new chapter unfolds. In every tale spun, it seems the name Derek echoes through the air, a constant refrain that dances on the lips of those around. In all my days, I had yet to cross paths with him. "Is all well in your world?" With a furrowed brow, I inquired, my mind swirling with uncertainty. "It seems the time has come for us to have a conversation. Would you care to join me for a midday meal?" Allow me a moment to share my thoughts with you. Once upon a time, a simple word held great power. It was a gentle plea, a soft whisper that carried the weight of hope and desire. "Please," it said, inviting kindness and understanding into the hearts of those who heard it. And in that moment, the world paused, ready to respond to the call of compassion. In that moment, I found myself standing at the crossroads of decision, a flicker of uncertainty dancing in my mind. A chorus of whispers echoed within me, each one insisting that this was indeed a peculiar situation. Unbecoming. Yet a weariness settled in my bones, a longing to break free from the confines of propriety. In the quiet corners of bustling rooms, I found myself weary, seated at tables where the laughter of others echoed around me, yet I remained a solitary figure, longing for the warmth of connection, hoping someone would recall that I, too, held significance in this world. And so, with a heart full of hope, I uttered the word that would change everything. Yes. In a serene spot just beyond the bustling town, he made his choice. In a quaint little corner of the world, there stood a rustic cafe, its big windows inviting the warm sunlight to dance inside. Soft jazz floated through the air, wrapping around the patrons like a gentle embrace, creating an atmosphere that felt like a warm hug on a chilly day. As I stepped through the door, he rose to his feet without hesitation, extending a chair to me with the grace of a true gentleman. He appeared before me, a figure so unlike the one I had conjured in my mind's eye. Raw and unrefined, yet undeniably authentic. With a hint of stubble gracing his chin and weary eyes that spoke of countless stories, he bore the marks of a long journey. Behind his charming facade lay a hint of nervousness, a subtle tremor in the air that whispered of deeper emotions. "Thank you for coming," he said, his voice warm and inviting. "It may come as a surprise, but here I am, stepping into the light with something unexpected." With a gentle nod, I acknowledged the moment. In the quiet corners of my mind, a question lingers like a whisper in the wind. Why am I here? He inhaled deeply, savoring the moment. "It seems I have a little tidbit to share with you. Your husband, it turns out, did not find himself toiling away late into the night." For a fleeting moment, the room was awash in an almost blinding brightness. With my gaze fixed upon him, I lingered in anticipation. He was absent from the office that day. And I know this to be true, for I have walked that path myself. Not a word escaped my lips. As I gazed into the depths of my glass of water, I could feel the rhythm of my heart echoing in my chest, a steady thud that seemed to resonate with the stillness around me. He pressed on, acknowledging the weight of his words. I understand it's not my place. Yet I have observed you as well. It is he indeed. In my journey, I have encountered sights that demand my attention, whispers of the extraordinary that cannot be overlooked. In the dim light of the hotel, whispers floated through the air as he was spotted in the company of a familiar face from the team, their presence sparking curiosity and intrigue among those who chanced to notice. Once upon a time, in the bustling halls of a prestigious firm, there was a junior associate, eager and bright-eyed, ready to embark on a journey filled with challenges and opportunities. Forgive me. The silence that enveloped us grew heavier, wrapping around us like a dense fog. As I sat in the quiet of the room, my mind wandered to the flickering candle, its soft glow dancing in the shadows. Once upon a time, there were exquisite pearl earrings, glimmering with a soft, ethereal light that seemed to capture the very essence of elegance. Once upon a time, there was a pot roast, simmering gently, filling the air with its savory aroma, promising warmth and comfort to all who gathered around the table. He leaned forward, his demeanor gentler, as if sharing a secret from the depths of his heart. Text, I shared this with you because I have walked this path myself. Alas, it is a misstep. In the grand tapestry of life, you are entitled to the unvarnished truth. In that moment, a profound shattering echoed within me. Not like glass, but rather like a rope that has endured the relentless strain of time, finally succumbing to the weight of its own burden. In that moment, he uttered words that took me by surprise. Last night was but a shadow of what you truly deserve. And if the world turns a blind eye, I shall be the one to shine a light upon it. His voice carried no hint of flirtation. It was a sensation that lingered in the air, a curious essence that resembled respect in the most unexpected way. Words eluded me, dancing just out of reach. And in that moment, I chose to remain silent, letting the weight of my unspoken words linger in the air. As we sat together, the remnants of our meal lingered on the table, and a hush fell over us, wrapping the moment in a quiet embrace. Yet, as I turned to depart, he rose and placed his hand softly upon my arm. On this special day, we celebrate you, Mrs. Connolly, and the journey that has brought us to this moment. Happy anniversary! In that very instant, a realization washed over me, signaling that a change had taken place. Not in the world, but within the depths of my being. A profound stillness began to awaken, as if the very essence of the world was gently rousing from its slumber. It was a sensation long forgotten, a whisper from the past that stirred within me after many years of silence. Little did I know the journey that awaited me, shrouded in mystery and anticipation. As dawn broke, I found myself stirring from slumber, enveloped in an unusual calm that settled deep within my being. Neither a torment nor a tranquility. In the stillness, there was a profound silence. As I cast my gaze towards Tom, I found him lost in the realm of dreams, his mouth gently parted, and one arm draped carelessly over his pillow, a picture of serene slumber. In that moment, a realization washed over me, revealing the vast chasm that had silently formed between us, despite our bodies lying side by side in the same bed. He chose to remain silent about the dinner that never was. There was no inquiry about the adventures of my night. In a flurry, he dashed through the shower, the water cascading like a fleeting moment, before he departed for work. A swift peck on my cheek was all he offered, his thoughts already wandering far beyond our shared space. Yet my thoughts had drifted away from him, like leaves carried by the wind. In that moment, my mind was consumed by the haunting gaze of Derek as he spoke those words, "You deserved more than last night." Not in the way of a pickup line or a mere compliment, but as a truth laid bare. A moment of recognition. In that moment, I felt a profound recognition wash over me, a realization that both exhilarated and frightened me, how deeply I yearned for that connection. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the landscape, I found myself drawn back to the park once more. There I was, perched upon the familiar bench beneath the sprawling maple trees, as the golden sunlight danced and flickered through the vibrant leaves above. In the stillness of the moment, my phone let out a soft buzz, breaking the silence like a whisper in the night. Once upon a time, there was a kind soul named Derek, and in the hearts of those who cared for him, a gentle wish arose. May he be well and find peace in his journey. Once more, I find myself seated at the familiar cafe, a place that has become a backdrop to my thoughts and musings. In a moment of inspiration, I decided to step away from the confines of the office and seek the warmth of a comforting cup of coffee. Come, join me on this journey. For what felt like an eternity, my gaze lingered on the message, each word weaving a spell that held me captive. It was clear to me how this might appear. Yet, it did not carry the weight of something unclean. It seemed like a calling, a whisper from the depths of the heart that could not be ignored. 10 minutes later, I found myself once more seated across from him, a warm cappuccino cradled in my hands, while a nervous flutter danced in my stomach. "You didn't have to come," he said, his voice carrying a weight of unspoken stories. But I am aware." In a moment of tranquil stillness, we found ourselves seated together, gazing as the rain danced down the window panes, each droplet telling its own story. Then he spoke. "You seem to be a person who has carried the weight of many things for quite some time." As my gaze fell upon him, a story began to unfold. From just 2 brief exchanges, a world of understanding unfolds. He offered a half-smile, a fleeting glimpse of warmth that danced across his lips. There are certain truths that stand boldly in the light, waiting to be noticed. In a moment that felt both unexpected and inevitable, I found myself sharing the tale of my life with him. Once upon a time, in a land not so far away, our daughter embarked on a noble journey as a teacher in the enchanting state of Oregon. Meanwhile, our son, filled with joy and love, recently tied the knot, stepping into a new chapter of his life. Once upon a time, there was a joyful chapter in the lives of Tom and me, filled with laughter and the rhythm of dance. We would twirl and sway under the soft glow of lights, our hearts beating in time with the music. But as the seasons changed, those vibrant evenings gradually slipped away, giving way to the quiet hum of silence and the flickering glow of the television. Once upon a time, I found myself drifting away from the pages of my journal, lost in the haze of uncertainty, as the whispers of my desires faded into the background, leaving me to wonder what it was I truly sought. He lent his ear, truly absorbing every word. He was fully present, his attention unwavering, with no distractions to pull him away, not even a fleeting glance at his phone. After a moment of reflection, he spoke, his voice carrying the weight of understanding. "I know what that feels like," he said. "Once upon a time, my ex-wife shared a poignant truth with me. She felt as though I had ceased to truly see her, even when my gaze was fixed upon her. In that moment, clarity eluded me. At this moment, I find myself in a place of understanding." In the hushed tones of his voice, laced with a hint of shame, there was a magic that drew me nearer to him, a connection deeper than the one I had shared with Tom for many years. It wasn't a tale of romance, not just yet, but there lingered a profound intimacy in the act of revealing invisible wounds to someone who truly saw them. As we prepared to take our leave, Derek's hand slipped into the depths of his coat pocket. "Gather round, for I have a curious tale to share. It may seem peculiar, but I come bearing a gift for you." With a gentle motion, he extended his hand, revealing a small, folded piece of paper nestled within his palm. Within the confines of that space lay a poem, unadorned yet profound, inscribed by hand in tidy block letters. "Once, You were not merely a server of affection, lost in the mists of time. In a hidden chamber, where shadows dance and whispers linger, you remain a beacon of light, unseen by the world beyond. Do not slip away into silence. As I raised my gaze, a heaviness settled in my throat. This was penned by your hand. With a casual shrug, he reflected on the days when words flowed from his pen like a river. It seemed as though he had put that chapter of his life behind him. In that moment, I encountered a soul who rekindled the spark of new beginnings within me. We lingered in that space, the silence enveloping us like a thick fog, the unspoken words suspended in the air. As I crossed the threshold and ventured into the embrace of the rain, I chose to forego the shelter of my umbrella. In a world awash with facades, I yearned for a connection that was raw and genuine, a sensation that pierced through the layers of pretense. And in that fleeting moment, beneath the heavy gray skies, with droplets clinging to my hair and a heart brimming with emotion, a truth emerged, one I had yet to confess, even to my own soul. The tale had grown beyond Tom, weaving itself into a larger narrative. Once upon a time, in the quiet hours of dawn, I found myself stirring from the embrace of slumber. For the first time in years, the next few days drifted by in a haze, much like the stillness that blankets the air before a storm breaks loose. As I moved through the familiar rhythms of the day, folding laundry and gathering groceries, I set the dinner on the table by 6. Yet my thoughts drifted like leaves in the wind, untethered to the tasks at hand. As I wandered through my thoughts, Derek's voice echoed softly, reciting that poem again and again in the chambers of my mind. With each towel I folded and every pot I stirred, a melody of words danced within me, whispering their secret rhythm. Unbeknownst to Tom, a subtle shift had occurred around him. Perhaps he had the knowledge all along, yet he decided to remain silent, letting the moment pass without a word. In the ebb and flow of our days, the silence that lingered between us had settled into a comfortable routine, much like the old wallpaper that adorned the walls, faded, familiar, and effortlessly overlooked. And so, the day of Friday arrived. As I settled into the comforting embrace of my back porch, a warm cup of tea cradled in my hands, I gazed out at the gentle dance of the breeze weaving through the trees. Suddenly, the tranquility was interrupted by the familiar buzz of my phone, calling for my attention once more. Derek, today I embark on a journey to the serene embrace of the lake. In that moment, a longing for the crisp embrace of the open sky stirred within me, beckoning me to step outside and breathe in the world anew. Should you wish to partake, carry no burdens of expectation. In a world where the hustle and bustle often reign, there exists a sanctuary, a realm where tranquility whispers softly. It is a place where one can find solace, wrapped in the gentle embrace of stillness, where the mind can wander freely amidst the serene silence. With my gaze fixed upon the message, my thumb lingered in the air, caught in a moment of hesitation. In the depths of contemplation, 1,000 reasons whispered softly, urging a refusal. Yet, amidst the whispers of doubt, there emerged a singular reason to embrace the call, its voice resonating with undeniable clarity. In the depths of my heart, a desire stirred, beckoning me to take action. Half an hour later, I found myself nestled in the passenger seat, the windows rolled down, my scarf dancing playfully in the breeze. As we journeyed along the winding road, silence enveloped us, wrapping our thoughts in a quiet embrace. In that serene moment, a gentle hush enveloped them, occasionally stirred by a soft remark about the vastness of the sky or a melody drifting from the radio. As we approached, the lake lay before us, a perfect mirror reflecting the sky, cradled by the towering pines that stood sentinel around its shores. Above, the clouds hung low and heavy, their presence not menacing but rather soft and gray, like a comforting blanket draped across the sky. As we strolled along the shoreline, the sound of our shoes crunching against the damp earth accompanied us, each step weaving a tale of the moment. What brings us to this place? At long last, I summoned the courage to ask. With a gentle curve of his lips, Derek beamed with joy. In this very place, memories linger of the times I spent with my father. Though his words were few, his presence was a steadfast beacon, unwavering even when the storms of life raged around them. In this sacred space, I find a gentle reminder to inhale deeply and embrace the moment. With a gentle nod, I acknowledged the moment. For years, I have wandered through life, scarcely allowing myself the luxury of a deep breath. He came to a halt, his gaze locking onto mine. Perhaps the moment has finally arrived. As we settled upon the weathered log, the lake unfurled before us, a serene mirror reflecting the world around. From the depths of his backpack, he retrieved a trusty thermos, its surface worn from countless adventures. With a practiced hand, he poured the rich, steaming coffee into 2 small cups, the aroma swirling around them like an inviting embrace. In that fleeting moment, the air was filled with a sweetness and warmth that wrapped around us like a cozy blanket. It was as if we had stepped back in time, 2 carefree souls, reminiscent of college days, slipping away from the burdens of the world. With a hushed voice, I leaned in and said, "I need to ask you something." He cast his gaze in my direction. "What compels you to embark on this journey? Will you share a moment in my company? Crafting verses?" So you beckon me to this place?" He gazed at the cup cradled in his hands, then lifted his eyes to meet mine, revealing a glimpse of vulnerability that was both unexpected and profound. "For it is in my gaze that I truly behold you," he spoke softly. "Once, there was a woman who dedicated her days to being a pillar of strength for those around her. In her unwavering support, she lost sight of her own ability to dance through life, forgetting that she too could sway and flow with the rhythm of her own heart." You bring to mind a truth I nearly let slip away, the profound depths of emotion that can awaken within us when we are finally granted the freedom to feel. As I stood there, a wave of emotion surged within me, and I felt the familiar sting of tears threatening to spill over. Yet, with a determined blink, I pushed them back, holding onto my composure. It was a sound I had never quite encountered before. Once upon a time, that was the case. But now, the story has changed. With a tender gesture, he leaned in, his fingers softly sweeping away a wayward strand of hair that had dared to fall across my face. His fingers hovered, a heartbeat longer than necessary, as if time itself had paused in that fleeting moment. Neither demanding nor expectant, simply existing in the moment, fully present. As I gently shut my eyes, the world around me began to fade away. In that moment, there lingered an unspoken tension, a boundary untouched, where lips never met and lines remained unbroken. Yet the tension hung in the air between us, subtle and emotional, electric, much like a thick fog creeping in from the water. As they journeyed back, an unfamiliar hush enveloped the car, transforming the air around them. Now it was filled with life. In the air lingered a multitude of unspoken words, each one heavy with meaning, waiting for the right moment to be set free. As he pulled up to my doorstep, the air was thick with unspoken words. He simply paused, his gaze lingering on the horizon, and without a word, he turned away, leaving me standing there, the door to my world wide open, yet untouched by his presence. With a gaze that held the weight of wisdom, he turned to me and softly uttered, "Take care of your heart, even if no one else does." On that fateful night, I found myself in the bathroom, gazing intently at the figure that stared back at me from the mirror. The woman gazing back from the mirror held a certain familiarity, yet there was an undeniable difference that intrigued her. As if emerging from the depths of a long, peculiar dream, one stirs from slumber, blinking against the light of reality. In the quiet of the night, Tom lay nestled in his bed, the gentle rhythm of his soft snores filling the room like a soothing lullaby. As I nestled in beside him, I turned my back, my eyes wide open, and my heart raced with a flurry of questions that lingered in the shadows, waiting for the courage to emerge. In that serene moment by the lake, I discovered a profound sense of being truly seen, a feeling that had eluded me through countless anniversaries, candlelit dinners, and meticulously crafted vacations over the years. In that moment, a profound understanding washed over me, a blend of beauty and fear intertwining in a delicate dance. As dawn broke, I found myself stirring from slumber, burdened by a weight that clung to my spirit, refusing to let go. It wasn't quite sadness, not in the way one might expect. It was as if a profound change had taken place within me, a stirring deep inside that I could no longer restore to its rightful place. As I glided through the house, a hush enveloped me, each step taken with the utmost care to avoid disturbing Tom's slumber. I was well aware that he would not question my early rise, a silent understanding lingering in the air. Once upon a time, I brewed a fragrant cup of coffee, its rich aroma filling the air, yet, for reasons unknown, I let it sit untouched. With a gentle sigh, I stepped into the living room and settled by the window, gazing out at the garden where our children once frolicked in carefree joy. In the gentle embrace of the soft light, where the grass lay kissed by the morning dew, I found myself wandering, a stranger in the very tapestry of my own existence. In that moment, I found myself embarking on an adventure I hadn't dared to take in many years. In the quiet solitude of my thoughts, I took up my pen and poured my heart into the pages of my journal. In the quiet moments, I put pen to paper, crafting a few lines that trembled with uncertainty, yet they were born from my heart. In the quiet moments, when the world seems to pause, I find myself standing steadfast, a presence that endures. In the midst of a journey, I find myself at a crossroads, uncertain of the figure I am shaping into. Yet one truth shines brightly: I am no longer a shadow, unseen and unheard. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting its warm glow, Tom began to awaken from his slumber. As he stepped into the kitchen, a thoughtful scratch at the back of his head accompanied him, his phone already clutched in his hand, ready for whatever awaited him next. As the first light of dawn crept into the room, he whispered softly, "Morning." In the stillness of the moment, I found myself waiting. There was no kiss to seal the moment. But tell me, how do you fare on this fine day? In the vast expanse of existence, there lay a profound silence, an emptiness that spoke volumes. It was a moment where the world paused, and in that stillness, nothing unfolded, yet everything was possible. With a deep inhalation, I paused for a moment. "Tom, may I pose a question to you?" He raised his gaze to the heavens. "Indeed. What brings you here today?" Our gazes intertwined, a silent connection sparking in the air between us. "Pray tell, where did you find yourself on the day we celebrated our love?" His brow knitted together, a subtle sign of contemplation. "Text, I shared with you my burden of having to toil into the night." As the clock ticked on, the presentation stretched beyond its intended bounds. "No," I declared, my voice a whisper yet unwavering. "Alas, you did not." In that fleeting moment, his eyes widened, surprise washing over him like a sudden tide. "I understand you weren't at the office," I continued, weaving the words into the air like a gentle breeze carrying a secret. "Before you weave another tale, I urge you to ponder the weight of your words. From my heart, to us, dear friends, we raise our glasses and celebrate the bonds that unite us." He gazed at me, his expression one of sheer astonishment. And then, in an instant, your gaze drifted elsewhere. He sat quietly, cradling his cup of coffee, the warm steam curling up into the air like a gentle whisper of comfort. Upon the ground, anywhere but here, away from my presence. With a heavy heart, he finally spoke. "I never intended to cause you pain." "Yet you did." In the stillness, a profound quiet enveloped the world. Time seemed to slip away as we lingered in that moment, each of us caught in a web of uncertainty about what would unfold next. He offered no words of regret. He chose to remain silent, leaving the words unspoken. And so I chose not to press on. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, I found myself unburdened by the weight of his response. On that fateful afternoon, I set out on a stroll, the world beckoning me to explore its wonders. In solitude, it was a moment destined to unfold without the presence of Derek. In a quest to find clarity, I sought a moment to clear my mind. As the sun graced the sky with its golden rays, a familiar fragrance wafted through the air, reminiscent of lilacs, enchanting all who breathed it in. In that moment, a peculiar stillness enveloped the world around me, as if the very world itself paused, suspended in a moment of anticipation. Upon my return, I discovered a small envelope nestled within the confines of the screen door. Upon it, my name was inscribed. Once upon a time, there was a name that echoed through the ages, and, in that familiar, tidy block handwriting that stirred a sense of recognition within me. Within the confines of that space lay a solitary sheet of paper, waiting to unveil its secrets. Once more, a poem emerges from the depths of inspiration. In a world that often demands quietude, remember this: your voice is a treasure, not a burden. Speak your truth, for it is a gift that deserves to be shared. The past does not hold the keys to your freedom. As you take that step, perhaps with a quiver in your heart, know this: in that very act, you embody courage. There was no signature to be found, only the words. Not a single tear fell. This time, the answer is no. With a gentle touch, I folded the poem with care, tucking it away within the pages of my journal before closing it softly, as if sealing a precious secret within. On that fateful night, I found myself seated at the dinner table alongside Tom. As he sat there, a plate of food before him, he absent-mindedly brought a forkful to his lips, his other hand dancing across the screen of his phone, lost in a world beyond the meal, the flavors slipping away unnoticed. I gazed at him for what felt like an eternity, my heart devoid of anger. Not a whisper of disappointment echoed in the air. Only clarity. And so I rose to my feet, leaning down to place a tender kiss upon the crown of his head, just as I had done in days gone by. With a soft voice, I spoke. I believe I need a moment to find myself. With a sudden jolt, he lifted his gaze, eyes wide with surprise. What could that possibly signify? For what feels like an eternity, I have stood in the shadows, yearning for another to notice my existence. In that longing, I lost sight of the reflection that awaited me in the mirror, a familiar face I had forgotten to acknowledge. In that moment, my voice remained calm, unraised, as if the storm within me had chosen to stay silent. With a gentle push, I closed the door behind me, ensuring it did not make a sound. As I stepped onto the porch, the evening light wrapped around me, and the wind danced softly through the trees, as if it were sharing a secret, reminding me that it was perfectly fine to yearn for something greater. As I stand on the threshold of this new chapter, uncertainty swirls around me like a mist, leaving me to ponder the adventures that lie ahead. Yet, there is one truth I hold dear. With courage in my heart, I stand ready to embark on a new journey, unafraid to start anew.